Hey guys, I wanted to make a quick video for people who are not currently in romantic relationships and want to be in romantic relationships. Here's the thing about wanting to be in a relationship, and this is something that I see with my clients all the time. There is a bind here, right? Because there's a part of you that deeply, deeply, deeply wants partnership, that deeply wants relationship, that deeply wants intimacy. You know this because your heart's crying out for it. You know it because your desire for it is very strong in your body, right? So it feels like everything inside you is saying yes. And in that place where you're saying yes and you want something that's not currently in your life, you are thinking about what can I do? How do I do it? What needs to change? Perhaps putting demands on yourself to, fix things in your life so that you can attract a relationship. Perhaps being mean to yourself in that place. Because in your mind, you're just thinking like, I want this, I want this, I want this, and it's not here, and it's not here, and it's not here. So what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? The bind here, though, is that even though there is a part of you saying, yes, I want this relationship, the reality is there has to be another part of you that's also saying no to a relationship, right? Because if we are the manifestors of our lives, if we are the creators of our own reality, if our external circumstances are mirroring our inner landscape, and we don't have the partnership in our lives that our minds are saying we want, that means some part of us down in the unconscious, down in the subconscious, is actually saying no. So when you're sitting there in your head saying, oh my God, I want this, if only, how do I do it? On some level, you are actually bypassing the part of you that deep down is saying, hell no, I'm not bringing in a relationship. You're skipping over that part. If your method of trying to attract a relationship, of trying to manifest a relationship, of trying to bring a relationship into your life is based on some vision or image of a full-throttled yes, it's never going to happen because you're not in reality. Because you are not actually a full-throttled yes. That's not your actual frequency. Your frequency is actually ambivalence, meaning part of you is saying yes and part of you is saying no. Do not make the mistake of thinking that you are not going to manifest a relationship until you're a full-throttled yes. That is not the case, and that is not true. But what is required here is a willingness to own and get to know your inner no and where it's coming from, to get to know your fears, to get to know your hesitations, to get to know your need for space, to get to know your need for slowness. And instead of creating a vision of a relationship that's based on your full-throttled yes, what I want you to start doing is to cultivate a vision of relationship where, yes, you are calling in the partner that you want and long for. But in this partnership, there is still space for the places where you want to pull back. There is still space for you to go slowly. There is still space for you to be afraid, in that you are actually calling in a partner who is willing to hold space for you in your places of fear, in your places of hesitation, in your places of self-doubt. And I would even go a step further, that you're not just calling in a partner who's willing to hold space for you there. You're calling in a partner who wants to hold space for you there, who wants to hold space for your vulnerability, who wants to be in relationship with you in that way. And conversely, that you then get to hold space for his or her vulnerability. Don't get lost in this fantasy of the full throttled yes, and I'm gonna find the right person, and I'm gonna change myself in the way that I need to be changed to bring in the exact right person, and then it's happily ever after. You know, there is no happily ever after. I mean, we all know that. We get in a relationship, and then it's like dealing with the reality of relationship and everything that brings up. So your task here isn't to bypass your no. If I'm someone who's not in a relationship right now, it's to say, oh, okay, I'm not in a relationship, so some part of me doesn't want to be in a relationship. Let me get curious about what part of me is that? What part of me is scared of relationship? What am I scared of revealing or sharing? What am I scared is going to get seen? What parts of myself am I afraid I'm going to lose? What help am I scared to ask for if I'm in a relationship? Start getting to know these parts of yourself. And then again, when you're envisioning the relationship you want to bring in, envision a relationship that holds and includes space for these specific parts of yourself. Okay? Now, having said all this, I actually have an exercise that I want to give you guys. And I'm actually going to come back here in a week's time, and I'm going to have a follow-up exercise where you can use the results of this week's exercise in next week's exercise and continue a kind of exploration. So we're creating a thread here in your exploration around relationships. So this is the exercise that I want you guys to do. If you're called, I simply want you to write down a list of everything you would be afraid for your future partner to see in you. The things in you that you feel maybe don't make you worth loving right now. The things in you that maybe you feel need to be fixed or hidden in order to bring in a partner right now. The things in you that you basically feel like if someone saw this or knew this, they would run for the hills. And I want you to write each thing down. Just see what comes in the moment. And then you can also continue to add to this list throughout the week. If there are things that come in the days to follow, just keep adding to the list. And what I want you to do is to understand these things ain't going away. And if there's a part of you that feels like you need to hide or fix these things to bring someone in, understand you're going to keep pushing love away, because these things that you want to hide, this is part of your no. I will never let anyone see me here. I will never let these parts of myself receive visibility and love and support. I want you to make that list, and then I want you to start holding space for a vision of a relationship where these things that you would never want seen and you would never want support for are actually seen and supported. So if you can flip that around and go from a place that says, I will never be in relationship because I will never let these vulnerable parts of me be seen, and you can instead switch it to, I am now cultivating a vision of relationship that includes space for these things that I never wanted to be seen. That's when you're going to start vibrating at a frequency that is true, that is congruent, that is realistic, that is holistic, that is for your highest self and your highest growing and your highest learning. And that is the vibration that will bring in the true partnership that you're actually seeking. Hit me up with any comments. Hit me up with any questions. Feel free to DM me if you want to keep it private. But, my intention with this is really to start creating a community. And there's so much power in community and in witnessing each other. So just know that whether it's in the comments or my DMs, I really want to hear from you. I want to hear what it's like for you to do this exercise and to hold space for yourself in this way.